Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be how I slept trained my baby and also how we got her unswaddled. I was going to film a completely separate video for that, but I don't think that there's enough info there to make its own video, and since it's sleep related, I thought I would just insert what we did for that in this video. So I'm going to hop right into it because it kind of is a lot of information, and also if you're watching this, I'm going to guess that you're in that process and you don't need a whole lot of introduction. You're just really exhausted and you really need a good night's sleep. I had just messaged someone, one of my former coworkers, everything that we did. So I have her message pulled up. I also asked my husband exactly what he would say in this video if he were doing it with me. He's with our baby in the living room right now, so I can film this, but he was 50% of this process, if not more. So I wanted to go ahead and get his input as well, just for the dad's perspective, because if you are enduring it together, you need each other in this. It's hard, guys, I'm not gonna lie, but it is so incredibly worth it and the best thing, in my opinion, for your entire family. So I will go ahead and say, before I get into this, not everyone agrees with sleep training, and I think that's completely fine. You do what is best for your family. If you're watching this and you think like it's so harsh, I can't believe that, then do what's best for you. I 110% support every mom and dad in their endeavor in parenthood because it is hard and every baby is so unique and different. So you may know someone that has a baby that has slept through the night from the day they came home from the hospital. And that's incredible, but not every baby does that. So I just want to be that voice that tells you you're not doing it wrong. Your baby is not, there's nothing wrong with your baby if they're not sleeping through the night. It's totally normal. I know that it's a question that a lot of people get, and I think it's just because sometimes they don't really know how to connect or what to ask, but they say, are they sleeping through the night yet? And if you say no, you almost feel like you're failing or something's wrong with your baby, and there is nothing wrong with you and nothing wrong with your baby. It is just hard. Parenthood is hard, so take a deep breath. There is nothing wrong with you. We have a almost 12-month-old. She'll be 1 year in a couple of weeks, and we walked through this at 6.5 months. So prior to that 6.5 months, she slept in our room, and she was in an even flow bassinet. It had a thermometer to test the temperature in the room, which is good. We never used it, and it also had a Bluetooth player, so if we were out of the room we could connect it to our phones and play music. Never used that either. Our room's really small, so I was able to just kind of glance over and make sure she's okay. I will say I had extreme postpartum anxiety, and a big part of that I think was that I could hear her throughout the night, and I felt like I needed to be able to watch her constantly, and she was exclusively breastfed, so I felt like it was my responsibility to constantly make sure that she was okay. I was not sleeping, so much so that I lost my vision, and I had to walk through that, and that was just, my husband couldn't have been more helpful. He was incredible, but as the mom, especially when you exclusively breastfeed, you feel like you have to be available at all times, even when they're sleeping. So if you have postpartum anxiety, my heart is with you. It is not fun. People don't understand it, and that's just because they're not walking through it and they don't understand. But I do think that sleep training your baby and everyone getting sleep and being well rested will help with your anxiety. Obviously, please seek a counselor if you do feel like you have something beyond the norm, because I did that. I had to see a counselor and it was incredible. So it was a huge help. Okay, so I feel like I'm getting on a tangent now, but so 6.5 months, she slept in our room in her even flow bassinet. I was so anxious about her sleeping in here that I had to just pray continuously to where I wasn't sleeping, but I was praying about it, and I'm like, God, I know that I need to put her in her crib and have her sleep in there, but I don't feel good about it. I don't feel comfortable with it, and I felt like God told me, so do you think that I'm in here but not in her nursery as well? And that just hit me, thinking like, God is everywhere. He is with my child no matter where she is, so he will be with her in her crib just as much so as bassinet. So that was a huge step for me. But also my husband was so ready to get her in here, not in a pushy way at all, but he just knew it was what was best for all of us, and he was so completely right. And if you're, I guess either one, if you're the mom and you're uncomfortable, just understand that your husband is half of that. It's his bedroom too. And he wants to be able to talk to you in the evenings and have that time together as well. So it is definitely 50-50. We knew that it was time because she wasn't sleeping as well. I feel like she knew that I was right there and available, but also neither of us were sleeping great either. So how we started this process was that we had heard about the Ferber method, and that is not what we used. Obviously, if you Google sleep training a baby, I feel like that's probably one of the first things that will come up. I didn't feel comfortable with that, just for the fact that you add time to each time you check on your baby, you add more time as they're crying. And I needed to pick a time that I was comfortable with and stick with it. So what we did, this process started, was we had her in her crib. We have a very solid nighttime routine, which I suggest to everyone. We would feed her. She would start on a puree at the time, and then I would clean her up, give her a bath if she needed it, bring her in here, do her pajamas, and then I would swaddle her. She was swaddled at the time, which I always thought don't sleep train until they can self-soothe with their hands and suck on them, but we didn't do that. We went ahead and we unswaddled after the fact. So she was swaddled, and then I would nurse her both sides. I would start a sound machine, box fan noise on my phone from YouTube, 10 hours long, and then I would put her down. She would wake up and know that I didn't have her and start crying. This is huge, guys. Unless you are emotionally ready to hear your baby cry or quote unquote cry it out, then I don't do it. You have to be ready and know that you will not give in. You cannot give in, or there is literally no point to this. So she would cry. I was at my wit's end. I was exhausted, and I knew it's what was best. So I cried, guys. I cried for, I think, 4 nights. So I would put her down, and then I would go to our bedroom and get in bed. She would be crying, and the time that we picked was 6 minutes. That's what we felt comfortable with, and what we learned was it was enough time that if she could self-soothe herself back to sleep, she could fall asleep in that time period. But it was short enough time that when we went to check on her, she knew that we were still there, and she knew like our presence was there. So 6 minutes, we would wait, and Josh, my husband, had to go in and check on her because I knew that I would most likely give in and pick her up. He would come into her room. He would not pick her up. He would not speak. He would not make a sound. He would put a firm hand on her to let her know that he was there. And he would stay for less than a minute and then walk out. And then we would repeat that process. It sounds easy, guys, but what's hard is that they're crying. Especially if you're a nurturer like I am. I want to comfort her constantly. So hearing that, like I said, I cried. Every night that we did it, that she cried. But there is a light at the end of the tunnel, and you can get through it. But like I said, it's huge. Do not do it until you are emotionally ready, because like I said, there is no point in doing it unless you stick with it. So she would cry. I think it took us 4 nights. If you look up the actual Ferber method, I want to say that it's anywhere from 2 nights to a week, and then they'll be trained. Guys, this will work if you stick with it. And again, it's not for everyone, but I have talked to people that say, I have my 2-year-old in my bed still, and I have my 6-month-old in our room as well, and I am exhausted. I should have done something earlier. And gosh, it's so much harder. I'm not going to say it like I know because I don't have an older child, but I can't imagine starting with a 2-year-old and then a 6-month-old at the same time, but also at that age. So if you can swing it and you're exhausted and you need that rest, she is so much happier during the day because she sleeps so well at night. And she sleeps probably 9 to 10 hours a night. And I know that there are sleep regressions that happen. I'm not saying that this hasn't had any sort of hiccups along the way, because there are nights that she wakes up randomly crying. It always applies that like we wait 6 minutes. Even now, Unless we did set this, it's unless it's after 4 a.m. And then I feel like that is long enough because we put her down around 8:15. Long enough for someone to get hungry, or maybe she has a tummy ache, anything like that. I will go get her and nurse her if it's after 4 a.m. And that's just what we both decided was best. One thing that my husband did mention was start either on a Thursday or Friday night, just our suggestion, because your husband will be there to help you and have more availability during the weekend unless he has a different kind of job instead of a 9 to 5. But that also means like during the week you're not both just super exhausted, and as a mom, if you're a stay-at-home mom, you're not on your own exhausted with an infant. So I think that that is a good recommendation. Start on the weekend, and usually by that Monday, if you start on a Thursday night, you're almost there. Okay, I feel like that summed up pretty much everything that we did. I just looked back over the message I sent to the coworker. I touched on everything that I sent to her. So just to reinstate what we did: solid nighttime routine. Same every night. Dim the light, sound machine if you're using one. Swaddle or not, I will touch on the swaddle thing in just a second, but swaddle or not, whatever you do, put the baby down, expect tears. If not, maybe they'll wake up startled, but no matter what, whenever they wake up crying, wait your designated amount of time. Pick a time that you're comfortable with, you're in charge of that, and be in it together and be emotionally ready. And don't give in. Do not give in. And then whoever's going to check on them, no speaking, no noise, no humming. Do not pick them up. Put a firm hand just to let them know that they're safe and secure. Stay less than a minute and leave. And then start the process over again. And then if you want to, like we did, we decided after 4 a.m. we would go if she does wake up. It is extremely rare that that does happen, but usually it's when she's teething or achy. There's always a reason for it. And that's about it, guys. Like I said, it took us 4 or 5 nights to be completely solid in this, and now she sleeps so well, and she's so much happier during the day because of it. I do want to touch on our swaddle plan and issue, I guess. So she was swaddled really far in the game. So I think usually babies are unswaddled according to Google after 4-ish months. I want to say she was swaddled until 7 months, maybe even later. And that was one of those things, just like sleep training, I thought we would never get through. I thought she would never be unswaddled. You know when you're in that and you're so tired and it's so hard, you just can't see an end. So what we decided to do with that, again, it's dependent on your family and your baby, was I had her in a Halo Swaddle sleep sack up until that 7 months or however old she was, completely swaddled both arms. And what that is, I'll just show you guys. This is what she slept in, is this guy. And it has the space at the bottom so her legs are free, but her arms were swaddled, and it zips up. It's Velcro over the top. And then underneath, it's like a little sleep dress, so you don't have to worry about blankets over your baby's face or anything like that. So we used that until that point, and then when we decided that we wanted her unswaddled, we unswaddled one arm, and I just chose, I believe it was the left arm, randomly. I don't think there's a rhyme or reason for that. Maybe you pick what they're most dominant with, or the shoulder they roll over, so just in case they have that to push up with. I just chose one arm, unswaddled it, and they say after a couple days unswaddle both, and if that doesn't, you know, if they're jumping still and they don't sleep as well, then revert back to one arm. I want to say I unswaddled one arm for 2 weeks. That's how long of a process that I made this. It probably could have been done sooner, but I just wanted her to feel completely comfortable before I unswaddled her, especially since it was not long before that we had completely sleep trained, and I didn't want to interrupt that process either. So we unswaddled one arm, I think it was 2 weeks, and then both arms. And I think she was a little fussy the first couple of nights just because it's total freedom and it's something that she wasn't used to, but sleeps like a charm now. It's not even an issue. Obviously she's almost 12 months, so it's been a while now, but that's what we did for swaddling. Consult your doctor though. I'm not going to sit here and tell you unswaddle one arm. If you're uncomfortable with that, then consult your doctor. Obviously she could roll over. There's always issues with anything revolving around sleep training, so call your pediatrician if you want to get a doctor's word, and obviously consult Google if you want to look up some different articles and things like that. But a few other swaddles that we had tried, well, one was this, and it had great reviews, and the baby's arms stay up and almost like I guess it's a butterfly shape. She hated this, guys, and it had great reviews, and I want to say we spent 30 or 35 on it. It's Love to Dream, I think is the brand. Swaddle Up Original. She hated it. So that just goes to show every baby is so different. It doesn't matter if one baby loves it, the next one may not. And yeah, that one did not work for us, but what she sleeps in now, and I have it unzipped because she just got up from a nap a little bit ago, is this sleep sack. So I believe it's the Halo brand, which is tried and true for us. This is a medium, 6 to 12 months, 16 to 24 pounds. It's from Target. All of these are actually from Target. So Halo brand, super long, but she's actually outgrowing it. So I am looking to find just a cheaper pack, maybe of 3 to last her until 18 months. And I noticed that Amazon does have some of those. If I do order them, I will link them down below so you guys can take a peek at those as well and see if it's something that would work for your baby. But I feel really comfortable with those because there's no way for her to get it wrapped around her face. I don't have to worry about loose blankets. Even after she's of the age that she can have blankets in her crib, I'm probably going to just keep her in those just because I don't have to worry about it. So that's what she's currently sleeping in, and I think that she cries pretty hard when I put that on her at night because she knows like sleepy time is coming and no more play, but it also sets the tone for the night. Once that's on, she knows like, okay, I'm gonna nurse and then I'm going to sleep, and that brings a little bit of comfort, I think, to her routine. So I hope you guys found this helpful. I know that I was that mom that was so exhausted and needed this help. So if there is any way for me to help a struggling parent on this channel, then I'm going to do it. It is incredibly important to me. So I hope you guys found this useful. Like I said, every baby is so different. Hang in there. You can do it. Even if it takes the full week, even if it takes longer, just stick with it. It will work, and you guys will get through it. So I hope you guys have really restful nights in your future, and I will talk to you soon.